You sneaky, you're running as an outsider.
I am an outsider.
Is this true? Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
Come on! Come on! Really?
Do you smoke crack cocaine?
Exactly.
Let's give the people what they came for.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell.
Mr. Prime Minister, will there always be a Canada?
There will always be a Canada.
All right, elbows up.
Elbows up.
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
Ready? Are you ready? Get them out of here! Get them out of here! Get the hell out of here!
Enough with the woke shit!
So the answer to that is to stop being stupid.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Get your special sock out, nerds. It's gonna get good.
Is the federal government stealing from us? Are they sabotaging our industry? Are they taking us down the path to communism? Are they censoring us? Are they stealing our guns from us? Come on, let's go!
Let's fucking go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special presentation of The Forge as Danielle Smith bumping her press conference up 10 minutes early. So we're going to skip the roll calls tonight. I hope you're all having a wonderful evening. We have a lot to unpack in the few minutes before Danielle hits the stage. So I want to make sure everybody's on site for what's going on tonight. So of course, Danielle's coming out to talk about where we go with the referendum. Now, the most Albertan lawyer in the world, Keith Wilson, will be joining me following that presentation, following Premier Smith. I want to make it clear, we will be doing Q&A. So if you guys have any questions that you want to ask Keith or get them in, we will be officially in referendum mode and campaign mode after Danielle does her press conference. All super chats, if you want to get a question in, for sure, guaranteed, all super chats are being donated towards the referendum campaign. So get the supers in if you want to not only help independence, help the referendum, but ask Keith a question. I'll make sure those get answered tonight on the stream. I know people don't like pay to play, but it's the chat's moving quick. Everybody's in here. It's the easiest way, folks, to make sure everything stays uniform and easy to follow. Before we get into Danielle's presentation, I just want to show everybody, if you missed it today, Pierre Poilievre just shit the bed. He's just officially lost his job. He will no longer be the leader of the Conservatives because he's gone to war with Alberta. Take a look at what he just said today and tell me if this sounds like a brilliant idea from Pierre. I think he's had one too many apples.
So I'm a strong Canadian federalist, a proud Albertan, and a proud Canadian. I want a strong Alberta within a united Canada. And all conservatives will be campaigning for Canadian unity in Alberta and potentially, we hope not, but potentially in Quebec as well if the separatists win there. We believe that Alberta deserves a fair deal in this country, which means that we unblock the resources, we allow the oil and gas sector to grow, we get the federal government off the backs and out of the way of Alberta workers and small businesses so the province can prosper, reverse the gun grab and other unnecessary federal liberal irritants, but all for the purpose of you making our country more united, more affordable, and more strong. It is the job of the Prime Minister of Canada to unite the country. And as Prime Minister in waiting, I will begin that work myself. I will be campaigning across the province of Alberta, encouraging Albertans to stay as part of the Canadian family and encouraging nationwide unity.
Yeah, you'll be not campaigning around Alberta. You'll be kissing your job goodbye. The Conservatives literally just lost their party out of the next election. Pierre needed Alberta seats. You've just told Albertans they can't leave. Ideally, what's happening, and I was watching Nat and the Guy earlier before this stream started. They even said it themselves. Quebec got a great deal because their referendum failed. So even if Alberta independence fails on its referendum, Danielle Smith would use that referendum as leverage to get us a serious deal similar to Quebec. Now Pierre says, nah, just wait while I sit in the corner and fence sit. I'll get you a better deal that could just be undone. And essentially they're going to come into Alberta and tell us we're not allowed to leave. I dare any conservative come into this province. Hang on. Sorry, we have the audio coming in from Danielle Smith's press conference. I hope that didn't come into the stream. If it did, I apologize. I dare any conservative to come into this province and tell us we can't leave. I've already tweeted Dane Lloyd in my writing, and I've said, don't you dare unless you've got one serious reason we can leave. In fact, I want to share this while we're waiting for Danielle. It'll probably be a minute or two before she joins the stage. I tweeted out Pierre Poilievre this afternoon because I attempted to reach out to his people. For anybody who's watched this channel for a long time, yes, I have a connection to Pierre's people. I said, I've reached out to your team twice directly, Pierre, and they usually respond quickly, but not this time. This is your formal invitation to finally come on to Unacceptable Fringe and explain to the thousands of Albertans who watch this channel one single reason staying in Canada is better than independence. I hope for and look forward to having this sit down with you if you truly care about speaking to the people of this province. Pierre will not come on this channel. I guarantee you. Pierre will not come on this channel.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm going to come.
Oh, he's not going to come on the channel. I did reach out to him. I reached out to his people. I said, let's have a real talk. He says he wants to go on podcasts. He wants to deal with independence. He's told me many times he won't come on the channel purely because of the name, because of what it associates with. Come on. I am one of the most watched political YouTubers in Alberta when it comes to Alberta independence. Come on my channel, Pierre, and let's talk about it. Let's talk about real reasons that you want to campaign for Alberta to stay in Canada. You tell me what you're going to do for Alberta, sir, besides roll over and sign your resignation letter. I will never vote for the Conservatives again if they try to waltz into Alberta and tell me that I don't have the democratic right to vote to leave Confederation so that pigs at a trough can continue stealing money out of my pocket and making my kids' future abysmal. Sorry, not happening, Pierre. You literally just shit the bed. You blew it. You blew it. Let's get into some supers and clear them before Danielle hits the stage. We've got Dutchie coming in for the 140. Hello, independence-loving Albertans. Dutchie, thank you for supporting the referendum. Real Steve Jensen with a $10. Pierre announced this afternoon he and his caucus will be in Alberta campaigning against us. Bring it. Bring it. I'm working on something huge with other YouTubers. We're going to put our own network together. The mainstream media isn't going to know what hit them. Bring it. I say challenge accepted. Jason in with a $7 super. Thank you for supporting independence. Ingrid with a $2 as well. Thank you so much. Snow with $5. Thank you to both you and Keith for all your hard work you've already done and will do over the next few months. Guys, we're hitting the ground running, boots on the ground. No time for rest. I've canceled all vacation plans for the summer. Time to go back home and visit family in Manitoba. It's not happening. I'm focusing on independence. We will get you over the finish line. Myself, other creators, those who are interested in independence, those who care about independence, we will get you over the finish line. Hopefully Keith can put your eases or your concerns to rest when he comes on the channel after Danielle. Clinton with a $27.99. Audio and video not matching. Is it just me? There may be some delays again. Things are really swamped right now. They're bogged down. A lot more viewers in here than we normally have. So just be patient. Hopefully it matches up soon. Steve with $10. There's an even better version of the do not come meme adding Biden and Bernie. I'll look into it. Thank you. Clinton with another $14 fixed. Bring on the vote. There we go. Thank you very much. Mile High Mopar. No matter what, we must keep looking forward. There is absolutely a way out. We all know what to do. LFG. I agree. Ingrid, help our veterans, please. Yes, we'll be contributing to veterans as well. But I will be putting a large portion of what we're doing towards the referendum. We want to make sure it is properly funded. So again, folks, just a reminder for anybody coming in, Keith Wilson will be joining us after Danielle Smith's address. We're just waiting for it to start. In fact, I'll bring it into the screen just so everybody can see it on there. I will be muting my mic as soon as it begins. Keith Wilson will be joining us afterwards. Make sure to hit the like button so people know that this is live, that we're watching, so YouTube can't push this down. Let's see how many likes we get. There's over 1,300 people in here. I want to see 1,300 likes immediately. And then when Keith comes in, folks, all super chat questions, all super chats tonight are being donated towards the referendum campaign. And all questions on super chats will be answered as priority for Keith. So if you guys want to support the referendum, this is the way to do it. While we're waiting for Danielle to get in here as well, I will add our shirts over at good old Spread Shop, the Independence shirts that are now live over at Spread Shop. The Veterans for Independence, all proceeds will be going towards veterans. The I Support Alberta Independence shirts will be going towards the referendum. On the backs of both shirts, the top 10 reasons Alberta would benefit from leaving Canada. Again, all proceeds are going towards not only charity, but the referendum as well. Go to our shop at any point in time. I'll put a link in the chat because a lot of people say I can't get there through the link is in the description. But there is a link in the chat for you guys. I'll put it up on screen for you as well. Head over there, grab your shirts, and support independence. Be a walking billboard for independence. We're going to win this fight. We're going to win this. It's going to be an uphill fight. Not only are the federal conservatives gunning for us now, but so will the NDP, so will the Liberals. Mark Carney says he's going to use the Clarity Act against everything. We're going to have to pursue this and push forward, folks. The battle of the lifetime hits. Alberta is officially at war, and Alberta is officially on the road to independence following Danielle's announcement. The question is going to be, how does Danielle phrase the question? What does Danielle come out with in the press conference? We already know a presser was released earlier today. Committee convened, and they all agreed unanimously that a referendum on independence must be called. So anybody who's worried that it won't be called, it is going to be called. The question is how will things be framed? How is Danielle going to go about it? And how do we get over the finish line? Now, I will be working with those like Berta Proud Dad, John Bolton, PJ the Belt. I spoke to PJ this afternoon, Jason Levine, etc. All Alberta YouTubers, all content creators. We need to get on page with the same scripts, the same information. We need to pump this information out. We need to get the middle ground out. We need to get boots on the ground over the summer, in person, on the streets, talking with Albertans, just like John Patriot Albertan does, talking with Albertans. He had a great video today featuring The Fringe. He's had many great videos recently. We need to do exactly what he's doing and speak with people about independence and focus on the cities. The cities are going to be where we're going to win this battle, folks. David with a $5 super. I picked up I Support Independence shirt last night. Thank you so much. We got Bonnie coming into the $7 super. Now the conservatives are trying to stop democracy. This shows how far Canada is a communism. We need to separate or else we will lose human rights. Absolutely, we do. You got Dutchie coming in with $30. Derek, please let everyone know where to donate if they don't know where to go. Is it the APP site? I don't know yet. I don't know if it's APP site or not. Again, folks, all supers here tonight will be going to the referendum. So it's kind of like putting in an escrow. So if you just want to donate here, all of that will be going towards there on supers. As things progress, I will let everybody know, hopefully by Friday's show, where to start putting that money. Put it where you want to. It's your decision where you spend your money. But I'm not sure if it's directly on APP site or where it is right now. Steve with a $2 super ordered my shirt yesterday. Awesome. Glad to hear it. Karina with a $2 super. My two shirts will be here around the 22nd and 26th. Glad to hear it. Unknown with a $2 super. What happened to Pierre? What's going on? He's going to campaign against independence. Of course he's going to. He's a federalist. But in my opinion, Pierre should sit this one out. Just stay out of Alberta. Get out of our way. He's going to lose his job and he's going to lose all of his seats in Alberta. People aren't going to be happy. A bunch of conservative uniparty members are coming in here to tell us you shouldn't be voting for a better life. You should allow the conservatives to put forward motions that fail because just like the coalition governments of Trudeau that came before, Mark Carney has a majority government, nothing can happen. So Pierre's going to come in and say, just enjoy not being able to live for the next 3 years. And hopefully we win the next election. Bypass your only opportunity to get away from this so that the feds can fix it. Your time's over, Pierre. There's nothing you can say that makes anything attractive to stay in Canada, which is again why I've invited you to come on my show. I know your people watch, Pierre. Get on my show and let's have a discussion about it. You can chuckle and laugh like you did on Rogan, all you like about how it's not happening. I would seriously love to debate. We got John from Alberta. Shout out to John. Got my shirt, wearing it in my next YouTube video. Awesome. Awesome. I love hearing it. We'll give away some of those shirts tonight, by the way. Make sure you stick around in the stream. At the end of the stream, I'll be giving those out. Love it, John. Thank you so much for the supers. Lulu Bell with $27.99 for the cause. Can we get some printed door hangers? 10 best reasons. If I can find somewhere that can make those, we're going to. I've reached out to Alberta Pin. Alberta Pin will be making flags with the 10 reasons on it. We'll see if we can get something like that done. Thank you so much. Steve Jensen with a 50. You all need to get together and create an Alberta Independence Broadcast Network with all of you doing a 1 to 2 hour show. I'm going to talk to everybody about doing something along those lines. We need to network. We need to make sure we're outperforming the mainstream media. We have to make sure that people are watching and getting their information top notch, top shelf. The time for views and clicks is over. Egos put aside. Let's get down to business if we truly care about independence. We have to work together. I was going to bring PJ on tonight. Unfortunately, I couldn't figure out how to do a dual cast stream, and I didn't want any technical issues during, because this is an important stream. So we're going to get PJ on another show. I'm going to try and get everybody you saw in today's thumbnail on today's video in on one stream talking about how we move forward. So stay tuned. Nathan with a $7 super. Thank you so much. I don't have a question, just supporting the cause. That's it. That's how you do it. I appreciate it, sir. Thank you so much. John with another $2 went to U of A today and made a video coming soon. Glad to hear. Guys, go subscribe to John. I believe it's Talking with Albertans is the exact name of the channel. Go give him a follow. Check out it. He has good discussions and good facts that get shared with people. You also get to see how these discussions are going with those who oppose independence. Highly recommend going. Give him some subs. Join his channel. Watch his videos. They're fantastic. Eilish coming in with, or Eilish, I hope I'm pronouncing that right on some end, with a $27.99. Thank you so much. Norma coming in with a $2.79. Thank you very much. Major Flip. Pierre just shit the bed. He should have no part in the new Alberta. He won't. Don't worry about that. Thank you for the $5. Albertan with a $2 super. Push play on your feed. Is it not? Oh, shoot. It stalled out.
The question will be, should Alberta remain a province of competition on their treaty rights?
Here we go.
This ruling fundamentally misinterprets the nature of the duty to consult, which was never meant to prevent citizens from making their voices heard through a democratic process. Now, I want to be clear. I support Alberta remaining in Canada. That is how I would vote on separation in a provincial referendum. It is also the position of my government and my caucus. However, despite my personal support for remaining in Canada, I am deeply troubled by an erroneous court decision that interferes with the democratic rights of hundreds of thousands of Albertans. Albertans who volunteered, prepared petitions, made their case to fellow citizens, and appear to have secured the required amount of signatures necessary under Alberta law to hold a provincial referendum. The fact is that between the Forever Canada petition requesting a referendum on Alberta remaining in Canada and the Stay Free Alberta petition requesting a referendum on leaving Canada, approximately 700,000 Albertans have signed a petition requesting a vote on this issue. And I, as Premier, will not have a legal mistake by a single judge silence the voices of hundreds of thousands of Albertans. That's not the Alberta way. Alberta's future will be decided by Albertans, not the courts. Our government will therefore be appealing the decision to Alberta's Court of Appeal and, if necessary, the Supreme Court of Canada. But this process will take many months and possibly years before being addressed by those higher courts. In the meantime, under our legal system, this troubling court decision is binding law in Alberta until it is successfully appealed. This means that it is unlikely the courts will permit Elections Alberta to hold a binding provincial referendum on separation until this incorrect ruling is overturned or clarified. But there is another way to hear from Albertans while we wait for our legal appeal to be heard. That is why I'm announcing today that I will be requesting our government add an additional question to the October 19th referendum vote announced previously. The additional question will be, should Alberta remain a province of Canada? Or should the government of Alberta commence the legal process required under the Canadian Constitution to hold a binding provincial referendum on whether or not Alberta should separate from Canada? Because this proposed referendum question does not directly trigger separation, but if successful, would ask Alberta's government to commence the legal process necessary to hold a binding referendum on the matter, the recent court ruling would not be applicable, and the referendum question I outlined could proceed. This question will also ensure the 700,000 signatories to both the Forever Canada petition and the Stay Free Alberta petition are respected, and the will of Albertans is heard. Kicking the can down the road only prolongs a very emotional and important debate, and muzzling the voices of hundreds of thousands of Albertans wanting to be heard is unjustifiable in a free and democratic society. It's time to have a vote, understand the will of Albertans on this subject, and move on. Now, obviously, Alberta's first ever provincial vote on our province's future in Canada is of monumental importance. As such, I feel it is important to clearly state my personal position so Albertans know where I stand. I first want to assure Albertans that our government will respect the outcome and direction received on all of the referendum questions being voted on this October 19th. Our government has already launched the website, albertareferendum2026.ca, with a significant amount of background information on the immigration and constitutional questions previously announced, and I hope every Albertan will take the time to explore that website in detail. As to the specific issue of separation, I have repeatedly stated that the position of the UCP caucus and UCP government is to build a strong and sovereign Alberta within a united Canada. I have never deviated from that position, and I will not do so now. I will therefore be voting for Alberta to remain in Canada, while continuing to work each and every day to restore and strengthen provincial rights under the Canadian Constitution. The fact is, Canada was founded on this very principle. Canada is very different from the United States and many other Western democracies. For example, the United States centralizes the majority of power and decision-making in its federal government. In Canada, we chose a decentralized federation composed of very unique and diverse provinces left to govern themselves in almost all matters, with the main exceptions of national defense and international affairs. Over time, our federal government has sought to move towards a more centralized American-style system, with Ottawa attempting to take over many provincial areas of jurisdiction, using all manner of legislative, judicial, and financial leverage. I categorically reject Ottawa's attempts to do so and call on all provincial leaders and MPs to undo the extensive damage that centralization of power in Ottawa has done to our country economically and with respect to national unity. I am fiercely loyal to both Alberta and Canada, but I truly believe our country is so much stronger and more prosperous when we respect the rights of provinces and empower them to govern themselves with minimal federal interference. Albertans, not Ottawa. Quebecers, not Ottawa. And all the other provinces must each be empowered to control our own direction and destiny, whether it's energy policy, agricultural practices, policing, firearms ownership, or how to administer our social programs. The days of Ottawa dictating and interfering in provincial affairs must come to an end. The future economic success and unity of our country depends on it. When I was first elected Premier, I was very concerned that it would be almost impossible to restore provincial rights stolen from Alberta and other provinces by the Trudeau-Singh government in Ottawa. However, our government went to work anyway to see if we could. We have been relentless in making our voices heard, launching dozens of legal actions, appearing in hundreds of national interviews, bridge building with other premiers, and aggressively passing legislation, such as the Alberta Sovereignty Within a United Canada Act, to take back our provincial autonomy from the federal government. We ran extensive advertising campaigns against the destructive net zero electricity regulations, as well as the catastrophic oil and gas production cap, in order to persuade our fellow Canadians that Trudeau's anti-Alberta agenda was also anti Canadian and was destroying the unity, energy, and economic future of our nation. A great majority of Albertans joined us in that fight, calling friends, relatives, and participating in social media to spread that message throughout the country. We made a lot of noise as a province. We fought hard and refused to accept the status quo. And the result? Well, my friends, we have started to win. Over the course of the last 2 years, the tide of national public opinion on resource development, provincial rights, energy policy, and a host of other issues began to turn. Our Alberta oil sands went from a national target to a national treasure. Pipelines went from impossible to a national imperative. Justin Trudeau's anti-Alberta, anti-energy policies became a national embarrassment, one of several, that ultimately cost him his prime ministership. The Leave It in the Ground NDP, led by Jagmeet Singh, was electorally annihilated. And the federal Liberals, led by their new leader, Prime Minister Mark Carney, adopted most of Alberta's positions on energy and resource development. In fact, the current Prime Minister has worked very constructively with our government to craft an Alberta-Ottawa Energy Agreement, or MOU, as it is often called. This has already attracted tens of billions of dollars in investment for new pipelines, natural gas-run data centers, electricity generation, and so much more. Under that energy agreement with Ottawa, the destructive federal electricity regulations are gone. The economically disastrous oil and gas production cap has been scrapped. New pipelines carrying nearly 1 million barrels of Alberta oil to the United States are proceeding with speed toward construction.
Oh, get
and
fucked.
A new track to have its permitting completed by September of next year. Could and should these reforms and projects move faster? Yes, of course they should. The federal government can and needs to act with even more urgency than it has. Do we in Alberta still have our differences with the federal Liberal government? Obviously. And make no mistake, we will relentlessly challenge them to respect our provincial rights and jurisdiction every time they step over the line. But my fellow Albertans, there can be no doubt that things are a world of difference better for our province than they were under the Trudeau NDP government. Both major federal parties, the federal Conservatives and now the federal Liberals, representing 85% of voters in Canada, are advocating for Alberta to increase our energy production and exports. Only some extremists in the NDP, Bloc Québécois, and Green parties, representing less than 15% of voters in Canada, hold fast to their anti-Alberta, leave it in the ground rhetoric. This complete turning of Canadian government policy and national public opinion was unthinkable just a few short years ago. No one thought it was possible, except here in Alberta. We turned the tide. We are winning hearts and minds to our cause right across the country, as many of our fellow Canadians are coming to understand that a strong Alberta and strong provinces means a stronger and more prosperous Canada.
You're not
Now, to
winning
those hundreds
shit.
of thousands of Albertans who are still not convinced or are unsatisfied with the pace of change and believe that separation is the answer, I want you to know that I empathize with you and I understand why you feel that way. You are justifiably frustrated and angry with Ottawa. You are proud and loyal Albertans that have watched our province be taken advantage of repeatedly over past decades, and you want it to stop. So do I, more than anything. Like you, I love this province and our people so much. I am so proud to be Albertan. But I ask you to
No, you're
please
not.
consider joining me to vote for Alberta to remain in Canada and not give up on our beautiful country just as we're gaining respect and the tide has turned in our favor. Not when our fellow Canadians, even those that may support different political parties, are nonetheless supporting Alberta's vision for a prosperous, energy-rich nation with strong provinces building a Canada we can be proud of again. In my view, now is not the time to give up hope in our country, not when we have fought so hard for so long and come so far. I believe Canada can still work. I believe it's working better every day, and it can work even better in the future if we keep fighting together for it. Together with our fellow Canadians, we have built a Canada that is loved and respected all over the world. Our men and women have died together fighting for our freedoms and the safety of hundreds of millions around the globe. Canadians were there in Europe, fighting and making the ultimate sacrifice in the Second World War long before we were joined in that effort by our American allies. Together with our allies, we were also instrumental in beating back the forces of communism and terrorism. The world would be a much darker place if not for Canada. We have built marvels of technology together. We are known the world over as a country of innovators, explorers, and entrepreneurs, but also of peacemakers, philanthropists, and contributors to the good of the world. Our federal politicians may stray from our foundational values from time to time, but our fellow Canadians, they are our family, our friends, our blood. We all know our family needs to do some work to get rid of a few bad habits developed over the past decade. But that's what we are in the process of fixing. Now is the time to double down and fight even harder for the prosperity and change we want to see in our country. Because Albertans are at our best when we are hard at work getting things done for each other and our families, solving problems, serving our communities, creating and innovating, building a stronger Alberta and a stronger Canada. And now is our chance to do so, finally with a Chinook wind at our backs instead of a winter blizzard in our face. Finally, I wish to speak with those of you who already agree with me that Alberta should remain in Canada. Let us guard against the trap of using division and demonization tactics against our fellow Albertans with whom we disagree on this matter. The vast majority of those advocating for separation love our province profoundly. Many are also proud Canadians that have simply lost hope that their families can flourish within Canada. So instead of attacking these loyal Albertans, let's work together to restore hope in their country again. Let's work together to hold Ottawa accountable for implementing the Alberta-Ottawa energy deal and get that pipeline built to the West Coast. Let's work together to get Ottawa to stand down on their unfair persecution of law-abiding gun owners. Let's work together to build an immigration system that helps support our economy while putting Alberta workers and taxpayers first. Let's demonstrate why Alberta can be stronger and more prosperous as a member of a renewed and unified Canada, one that is moving past the last 10 years to empower provinces to develop and export our resources and to govern our own provincial affairs free from federal interference. Let's use the power of hope and persuasion and reject the language of division and demonization. We are, after all, each other's neighbors, friends, and family. We must never let the voices of hatred and vilification divide us as a people. Because at the end of this debate, and when the referendum is over, we must come together to ensure that our beloved province continues to prosper. And that is my hope, that our beloved Alberta and Canada will remain forever strong and free. Thank you and good night.
Okay. So that happened. This is basically just going to continue from what I was saying about Pierre. Danielle Smith just shit the bed and lost her job. You had one job. You have combined between two petitions 700,000 signatures asking for a referendum. While people sat in the cold, while people went out and got harassed and assaulted, you're going to now say, hey, come in and ask for our end now if you want the same referendum we already took the question on, that we lined up in the cold to get, that we went out and got assaulted over, that we were told we were traitors to this country. While you and PP run around Alberta telling everybody how Alberta should stay in Canada, you traitorous ass. Are you kidding me, Danielle? Are you freaking serious right now? You're going to ask a question with a question? You literally just lit the province on fire. Everybody will be voting for independence now. Everyone. Because not only has the federal government told us they're going to campaign against independence, well, you've told us that, while you've said for months, while you have told us for a year, you would respect the will of the people. You say, well, now just keep my grips on the people a little bit tighter. Well, I sign more MOUs with Mark Carney, and we make this about a bloody pipeline and not about the benefit of Albertans. Are you freaking high? You retard? You're going to sit there and push this shit on us? She's done. I'm done. Danielle, you are locked out of this channel. I've never been more embarrassed in my entire life. Never. This is an insult to democracy. It's not, I didn't win my side. I'm going to take my ball. I'm going to go home. It's, you have just slapped 300,000 people in the face who are your voters. So here's what's going to happen, folks. Here's what's going to happen. And we'll wait for Keith to come on. We'll wait for Keith to talk to us. But here's how it's going to go. All summer long, we will still campaign for independence. We will still be pushing forward for independence to convince people that you should be voting on the referendum in favor of independence. This is her same stall tactic bullshit she did. Well, let's ask Albertans if they want an Alberta pension plan. Let's ask Albertans if they want an Alberta police force. Let's ask Albertans if we should begin the legal process to hold a referendum in Canada. How long will that take you, Danny? Because you've had over 2 years now and you haven't done shit on pensions. You haven't done shit on a police force. And now you want us to just sit back. You're hoping it just goes away. You're making it get worse, you idiot. Now you're going to have a referendum on the 19th. And guess what happens 3 weeks later? An AGM. And I personally will go there and vote your ass out. Put somebody in the chair that actually gives a damn about the will of the people. You've got to be freaking kidding me. Pierre, her, all of them. I'm done with it. I'm done with all of them. To hell with them. To hell with Pierre Poilievre and to hell with Danielle Smith. You sit in your studio on your radio show and you sit there in your press conferences and you say, oh, I'm a loyal Albertan. You're not loyal to nothing. Nothing. And you just backstabbed the people who were going to keep you in your job. I emailed her people this afternoon and I said, if you call a referendum, don't worry about the attacks from the people who were never going to vote for you in the first place. If you stick behind Albertans and if you respect the will of democracy, we will have your back. Well, guess what, Danielle? You just gave us all the finger. She's got a virtual town hall on Saturday. I urge everybody in that town hall to tell her she's fired. She's fired. Watch her poll numbers drop below catastrophic levels. Now a party needs to form to take them out of government. No, see, I see. I'm not wasting my time on October 19th. You should be. You should be. If that's our only way out, then we take it. But in the meantime, we flood the legislature. In the meantime, we hit the streets. We take our flags. We get bloody loud. And we tell the premier, you done fucked up. And we're fed up. And we're done. Just like Mark Carney. You want to bootlick Mark Carney? You can go to Ottawa. Go run for the feds. Get out of Alberta. You don't give a shit about this province. Because you just undermined 300,000 people. Who's this? Laughing away. There we go. It's just hit that ban hammer. Hit that ban hammer. Get them out of here. I already know some events that are happening over the summer. I'm guaranteeing you right now, we need to get everyone, all 300,000 signatories, First Nations, everybody who backs independence, flooding the legislature. Like the teachers did, those bought and paid for actors who stood on the legislative grounds demanding Danielle come out and hear them. Freedom Convoy 5.0. We get outside in mass and demand she change the question. Change the question or pack your shit. If you don't want to do it, we'll do it for you. How do you do that? How do you sit there? How? And I'm going to ask Keith as soon as he gets on. How do you sit there and tell Albertans, we know that Tom Lukaszuk ran around a year ago and got 400,000 supposed signatures, but then volunteers, 7,000 of them, ran around the province in the cold of winter, taking people's identification, ensuring that everything was done by the numbers. Everything was done to a T. Everything was done legally. We followed your requirements, and now you deny us because of some grifting First Nations that come in about something that isn't even legally binding for them? Why is Danielle still going to take this to the courts? Why is she going to appeal what the judge said? She doesn't want to hold a referendum. She doesn't want to be responsible for pulling the trigger. Are you freaking kidding me? Of course, Jeff Rath was right. What is this? Don't talk about civil unrest that only arms the commies? So what do we talk about? Hey, everybody, it's okay. Everything will be fine. Danielle's a good person. Let's all be happy and just skip our way to October and answer her questions. Maybe she'll have 3 more votes on a referendum to ask us to leave. This is the same as Jason Kenney saying, hey, let's have a referendum on equalization payments, and we're never going to do anything about it. This lady is too scared to put anything in progress, and she's done it with our pensions. She's done it with our police. Now she's doing it with this. Oh, I just want some marching orders to move forward on a referendum for independence. You've got 300,000 of them that you're denying. I can't believe it. No, we don't have an impeachment process. But I'll tell you something, there's power in numbers. We need to rise up. Not violently. We need to rise up and start making sure people listen. Government listens. When Pierre comes to town, boo him out of town. Tell him he's not wanted here. Tell his constituents, call every single Conservative MP's office in Alberta tomorrow and tell them you will not vote for them. There's nothing they can say to garner your vote. They literally just gave you the finger. They're done. They're fired. Tell them they might as well fire them and run a different candidate, one that listens to Albertans. Tell every single Conservative MP they're out of a job. And then send your letters and your emails to Danielle, telling her how disappointed you are, telling her how she had one job, one singular job. Listen to Albertans. Listen to 300,000 people who sat out in the cold and signed a petition while getting cigarettes put out on their face, while being spat on, while being told they're traitors. And now you want to just double check that they want to have a referendum? What are you, high? How do we get here? How did we get here? She was backed into a corner, and I really thought her people were smarter than this. I've been saying it for weeks. She's in a corner. She has no choice. She has to call the referendum. And she's going to stand up and say, well, I did call the referendum. I called a question on if we want to have a referendum. Tee-hee. Now Mark Carney will still want to work with us. I don't want China. I don't want Mark Carney. Hey, Danielle, go blow it out your ass. Why don't you go to China? No, we're not giving up and we're not surrendering. We're not doing any of that. We're just going to get stronger. Our numbers are now going to explode. They're going to explode. See all those people who were afraid to sign the petition? See all those people who were sitting there saying, I'll just vote on referendum day? They're about to get real noisy. You have an unelected federal judge saying your petition can't be counted. Your votes, your voice, your democracy doesn't matter. You have Mark Carney coming out saying, we're going to put everything in place to ensure that the Clarity Act is used to shut down independence. You have Pierre Poilievre saying, I'm going to come into the province where I parachuted in to keep my job because I failed so hard at running to be prime minister, to come in and tell families they should stay here and lay down and enjoy the mistreatment, that they should keep being poor so I can enjoy my big, filthy mansion that I'm given on the taxpayer's dime and hopefully one day be the prime minister. Hey, Pierre, reality called, you're never going to be the prime minister. Sorry, it's not happening. And out of all of that, you now have Danielle saying, I believe in a sovereign Alberta within a united Canada. Do you know why she's asking this question? She wants us to be like Quebec. She wants to use our anger, our frustrations to negotiate a better deal to stay in Canada so that she can take that referendum. See what she's going to do in October now. is when everyone votes, she won't actually start the process. She won't actually begin the process. This is what she did with the pensions. Hey, do we have everybody's okay to go ahead with this? And nothing happened. She's not going to start that process. She'll take those votes. She'll go to Ottawa and she'll say, well, look how many people want to leave. You guys should probably give us a better deal. Let's negotiate. And then she'll come back and say, we don't have to have a referendum, folks. Guess what? I just got us a better deal. It won't happen. It won't happen, Danielle, unless you go there on October 20th, because we're going to vote you out in the AGM. You're unemployed. Enjoy your last month as premier. Enjoy the summer. Take the summer. Enjoy Alberta for what it's worth, because come November, you're fired. You're out of a job. You're done. Everybody who backed you up just walked away. If you ever made a book on what not to do to keep yourself employed, she literally just went against the entire book. How do you screw up something so easy? So easy. She just blocked democracy. She just blocked democracy. I'm willing to bet this is why Keith isn't in yet. He's probably digesting this, trying to figure out what to do with it. I can't. I'm going to get to the supers in a minute. And don't worry, folks, they're still being donated. I'm not, if you think that Stay Free Alberta or APP or any of those guys are going to sit back at this point and say, oh, that's okay. It's okay, guys. We'll just accept Danny's October vote. It's not happening. And they'll need to be funded. So again, everything goes. Where's Keith? Keith, hang on. I'm just answering an email from Keith here. I don't know if Keith had a heads up because his email came from 51 minutes ago. You might find the Premier's announcement shocking and depressing. I actually think this could help us win. It will just take more time. Looking forward to being on your podcast. Okay, so let's wait for Keith. There he is, right as we said it. Keith, the most Albertan lawyer. Keith, what the hell just happened?
Well, life's complicated, and it became much more complicated with the decision of the court and their interventionist approach. Created a political wild card. I gamed out before this announcement. If the Premier were to have given a very simple blend of Lukasik's question, stay in Canada or leave, which would be very similar to the Brexit vote because it was a stay leave campaign there. And then I was like, okay, she's going to announce that as a referendum question through the powers that the cabinet has under the Referendum Act, completely separate and apart from the Citizen Initiative Act, which Mitch Sylvester used and Thomas Lukasik used. And then it's like, all right, a few First Nations chiefs are going to do the exact same thing. They're going to bring another challenge. They're going to allege that this was a breach of, could potentially in the future at some time lead to a breach of treaty rights, and therefore, or traditional Aboriginal rights. And then the court shuts it down. And so that was one thing I considered. Another one is, we have to be really honest with ourselves here, Derek. You know how committed I am to independence. Like, I'm putting everything into this, and I'm volunteering my time, and I'm fine to do that. I'm not looking. Anybody offered me money, I'd say no. This is just so important, and it's not just so important. It's such an unprecedented opportunity. And what I mean by that is there are so many absolutely compelling reasons, objectively true reasons, why you, your wife, and your kids, and in the future, your grandkids, will have a better future, a better life in an independent Alberta. Full stop. Right? Like, that's a truth. That's a truism. And then on top of that, we have the reality that we believe to be true, that we're likely to face incredible resistance from the Carney Liberals and some other provinces as well. And they're going to do everything they can to stop us. Well, we have this unique period in world history where we have the Trump administration. And it's clearly in the US administration's interest to recognize Alberta if Alberta seeks to exercise its right of self-determination and declare nationhood. But Trump has a problem, which is called the midterms. And those are in November. And he's probably going to get advised, assume we had the referendum and it's a simple up-down, right? And assume we win on a clear majority. And assume negotiations break down with Ottawa. Like, I've tried to game all these things out. That's what you do in litigation. You game out all your scenarios. And you assume a lot of bad things because you have to. So assume we have had a clear referendum and we won. And we would be hoping for US recognition. Well, given the political dynamics in the swing states, an action by Trump recognizing Alberta could be seen as a hostile act to Canada and cause swing voters to go Democratic. So he would be advised to hold his fire. He won't have that constraint in January, February, or March. So if we delay, again, it's not my first choice, but I have, because I want out now.
Yep.
Not next week, now. I'm done with this ideological extremists in Ottawa, like you are, and like so many Albertans. So if she were to have announced an up-down vote, a stay leave, it would have got bogged down in the courts and we would be sidelined. Even if that didn't happen, we've got a constraint on the political flexibility of the US administration in that same time window, which will end at the end of November of this year. And then here's a really, really big one. The polling isn't moving much. We won't win. We'd lose. We'd get 40%, maybe 42%, maybe 45%, possibly 35%. But I know many people, I shouldn't say many, I know more people who are supportive of independence, but in my circle of friends and contacts and neighbors and people I interact with, colleagues, they're really pissed off at Ottawa. They're very troubled about what Ottawa's doing, but they're not prepared to vote to leave. Okay. So now, but what if you said to them, well, rather than, if you got to vote to stay, but now you have another option, which is to send a message to Ottawa, send a message that you're not happy with what they're doing and they have to change. And you can do that. You got to hear me out on this because there's sort of a two-step process here, that you now given them another option. They don't have to make a binary choice with the pathway that the premier's just set out. And I have no control over it. And I just heard it like you did. Then what you've done is you're giving that person, many of whom I know, who would right now vote to stay, even though they're furious with Ottawa and concerned about the future, you're giving them another option. And they can say, yeah, Premier Smith, we want a full-fledged standalone referendum. One question, stay or leave. And we realize that's going to be a few months away. Now we've got that person starting to think even more seriously about leaving. And then we have those months that we can use to work with them to help persuade them that this is the right thing to do. We will be in a position to have answered all their questions. I'm working, and we had the first meeting of the Alberta Transition Council last week, and we're getting underway on drafting a white paper that details all of the steps involved after independence and how Alberta will transition the continuous delivery of services and take over the functions of the federal government. We need to get that out there so people can digest it. And the other thing that's important is that I have said when you've had me on your show, probably every time or every other time, that I honestly believe that the single most important individual that the historians will write as to why did Alberta become independent in 2027, and it'll be one name, Mark Carney.
Mm-hmm.
The more he has time to reveal his ideological extremist self, the more that people who just really, 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 really want Canada to still be a thing and work will realize it's not happening. Will realize it's too far gone to fix. And, you know, for example, despite the Premier's efforts, we're not getting a pipeline. We're not getting a pipeline. He doesn't want a pipeline. He's put so many booby traps and poison pills in the thing. We're not getting a pipeline, right? And in the meantime, he's burdening all of our existing production with an additional production cost of $5 to $15 a barrel in carbon and other H2 net zero nonsense. So he's hurting the economy. He's not backing down on all his anti-development laws. He could literally fix those overnight, and he's not doing it. He's getting more and more authoritarian with all the censorship bills. Like, I'm really starting to look into VPNs. You probably are too, because I want to watch your show. I need to be able to watch The Fringe, right? And I'm worried you're going to get shut down. And I could keep going. He's not backing off on immigration. We don't have the capacity to service the people who are coming in. And we're, you know, he's recklessly spending. I keep going, you know, the gun grab, the catch and release laws, the two-tier justice system. He has the opportunity to fix all these things. He's not doing it. So I as much as I wish the announcement were different, I'm a realist, blended with some optimism. And I think we got to seize this opportunity to get organized. You know, one other thing, and I want to hear your questions and happy to hear those from your viewers, is, or your concerns or comments, is let's be like some critical self-reflection here. I'm amazed at the work the volunteers have done. I'm amazed at the canvassers. My wife was one of them, and how hard she worked and the hours she put in, you know, just to get a few signatures here and there. Right. Yeah. But just heroic work. But there's no independence campaign. Forever Alberta, or Forever Canada, Thomas Lukasik, has a campaign, and they opened their campaign office last week. And on the independent side, we got nothing. I mean, the work I'm doing with the Transition Council is important work, but it's not the campaign. It's answering one piece of it. It's the detailed how-to part. There is no significant organized campaign. The independence movement needs to get its act together and get serious and get strategic if we want to win this. We know it's right. We know it's the right thing to do, independence that is. But we got to get to work, and town hall meetings are important, and they need to keep happening. But we're not going to reach those people whose votes we need to flip through the traditional grassroots methods. We're going to have to use sophisticated professional campaign techniques that have demonstrated to work over time, as well as all the social media power we have, because we have a lot of that. But we've got to really get serious about this. And I was becoming increasingly pessimistic that if it was an up-down vote on the 19th, even without the interference from the courts, even without the complexities of the domestic political situation that Trump faces with the midterms in the United States, that we weren't going to achieve it.
So listen, I'm going to try to keep my composure as much as I can, because yeah, we blew a little steam when Danielle was done, and rightfully so. I know the chat is disappointed in what happened. They feel the wind's been taken out of their sails. And one thing I've always promised them is this channel, as well as others, as well as yourself, we're going to be here through this. We're going to get through it to the end. But the question I have for you before we get on to what the viewers have to ask is, what do you figure Danielle's strategy is by asking a question with a question? Like, do you want to have a referendum after we've already done that? And is this just going to be another kicking the can thing, like what she did with the pension plan or the police force? How many times?
One of us froze.
Hey, there we go. There we go. So she asked at 2 AGMs, to my knowledge, Do we want an Alberta pension plan and then an Alberta Next panel, and nothing's been implemented? So I guess my concern is everybody still goes, because we've already had people in the crowd saying, well, I'm not even going to bother on the 19th now. I've told them, no, it's very important you go and still vote on the 19th. But will this just be another kicking the can down the road thing? Or do you think that actually puts the gears in motion? Or how do we get Danielle to stick to that if it's resounding that we want a referendum on independence?
Well, I'd say a few things, and I know you know this to be true, but this was never going to be easy.
Yeah.
Right. And I know you know that, and everybody knows that, but we need to remind ourselves of that. We're going to get setbacks. This is very much like when my litigation files. I have to say to my clients, look, get ready for a roller coaster ride. There's going to be days where you feel like you're on the top of the world and you got this and it's all victory. And there's going to be days where it feels like it's over. And then a week later, you're going to be on the top. And then, a month later, you're going to be in the bottom. And I said, and then some days you're going to be on the top and the bottom, the top and the bottom, like 5 times in a day, right? Like It's an emotional roller coaster ride. That's what we're on. Another little story that a very senior litigator, was one of the most aggressive litigators I ever met. He had a picture in his office, and it was like from a wilderness photographer picture, Derek.
Right.
And it was a bald eagle, big bald eagle up on a perch in a mountain. And this bald eagle had his eye hanging out, blood, feathers, all just like he was in bad shape. And the litigator, before he would start a litigation file with the client, because the client says, I want to sue, he'd say, see that bald eagle? And the client would say, wow, what happened to him? And the lawyer would say, he won.
Mm-hmm.
Right? In other words, we're going to get setbacks. We're going to have bad days. And today's partly one of them. The judge ruling on April 10th was another. But we got to persevere and get through this. And to your specific question, I think UCP members need to continue to exercise their membership and democratic rights and hold the premier's feet to the fire and say, okay, we understand your play. We understand your rationale. We may not agree with it. We don't like it, but you've got to follow through. And when are you going to hold the subsequent vote? Like, we need to have clarity on that timeline and get some commitments, because it needs to be, in my view, in February or March of 2027. That's when it has to happen. So, and I think by that time, it will become so much more clear to some who are on the fence and not prepared at this time to vote for independence to actually do so.
Right.
And I also believe that it will allow us to do the work that needs to be done by us. I mean, everybody in the independence movement, everybody, to continue to try and get one more person they know to go from a hard no to a yes. And then we can get a clear majority. We can attempt good faith negotiations. And if the federal government believes that if the federal government behaves in a way that we believe they are likely to, which is not to engage in good faith negotiations, then Albertans can exercise their option at international law in accordance with the Supreme Court of Canada reference decision and declare independence and seek recognition from the United States and other countries.
Okay. So here, I'll follow that up then, because here's my question then. Do we think Danielle will make it to hold another referendum? Because I'll tell you right now, if I'm looking at the chat, I'd say she's out of a job come the next AGM. People aren't happy. I know what you're suggesting, but do you feel she'll make it to the next ability to call the referendum through if we see, a resounding support vote in October? And will she be able to hold it as early as February or March? Because I think there's limitations. Like, she can't run a referendum within, I think it's 6 months before an election, can she? Like, they have a provincial election next year.
I looked into the blackout rules. Actually, I did that a while ago because of the amendments, the last set of amendments to the law. The blackout rules do not apply to the Referendum Act. They apply to citizen petitions. So there's no restriction there. But you could be right. Like, politics is volatile. And one of the things that could happen is enough of the membership may just say, no, we're not happy with this. And they could trigger some kind of leadership review. And that could potentially be successful, and she could be out. That's possible. It could be possible that it's not successful, and then the disenfranchised from that process start their own political party, or reactivate or join one of the other existing parties that are out there that aren't very active or very successful. And then you would have a split on the right. And so she could either, lose her job in a referendum, a leadership review of some kind. And all of those different scenarios are highly disruptive. But they're reality, they're political reality. I'm not trying to downplay them. I'm trying to be clear-eyed about it. So on balance, I can live with this process. It's not, and I've done that throughout this. Reason why I don't react strongly when something bad happens is I kind of always assume it's going to, and we got to figure out a way to overcome it. Right. And the other thing I'll just comment, I disagree. As much as I respect the premier and really like a lot of things she's done, especially wish she would have been premier and could have done it before my kids finished going through school. And I saw some of that ideological indoctrination and pride flags and all that nonsense that fortunately your kids are not going to have to endure now, Derek. And I could go on with lots of things I like that she's done, but I do not agree with a number of the rosy statements she made in her address tonight about the state of affairs. I'm sorry. It's just not reality. And my grievance with Ottawa has never been restricted to pipelines, has never been restricted to economic matters. It's been more deeply troubling about cultural matters. The whole shift of the focus of having more and more government roles in every aspect of our life, out of control taxation, immigration, authoritarian policies, a real slip into authoritarianism, cost of living, watching a slow motion replay of some of the things that happened in Venezuela, largest reserve of oil in the world. And look what happened to their economy when you hold it back with these socialist policies. Well, the green obsession of Ottawa is an ideological policy. So I don't think as many good things have been achieved as were described, or I don't think they're as far reaching, and they don't come anywhere close to addressing the core problems. And really importantly, not a single Federalist has described even a glimmer of a plan to actually get leverage for Albertans and get these fundamental problems changed. Never. And I'm going to be debating Jason Kenney on Monday in Calgary in that open debate that's going to be recorded and then put up on YouTube, I'm told. And it's wide open and not all private like they made the other one, which I had nothing to do with. I just kept saying, make it open, but they said no. And he offered no plan, not a glimmer of a plan last time. So the only plan that I know of in my experience in government, my experience in politics, my experience in the law, my experience with Constitution, and my knowledge of Canadian and Alberta history is a vote for independence. It's the only thing that gives us the pathway to achieve our potential and recognize and materialize our value.
Perfect. Now I'm going to get to viewer questions because I know they've been throwing them in here. I just want to ask, so in your mind then, do you think it's beneficial for us over the summer then? We continue campaigning, we continue getting the word out, we continue talking, getting people ready for October. Is that probably the best way forward?
Do you think Thomas Lukasik, despite him getting a statue now for successfully getting an independence referendum of sorts, do you think he's going to go home?
I don't think so. And that's kind of what I wanted to drive home for people.
Pardon me?
So that's what I wanted to drive home for people, that we'll lick our wounds, but we're not stopping. It's
you sit back and take this. It's a blow. It's just like when you see your kids play some kind of sport and they get knocked and to the ground and the other kid's shoulder goes into their stomach, they can't breathe for a minute, right? So they get winded. And there's a lot of us that are winded right now. But I think when we get back up on our feet, and we should do that right away, we got to get serious. Because so far I've been frankly bewildered that there's no campaign. There's a whole bunch of us wanting to do stuff. There's a whole bunch of us knowing it's the right thing. But this is not the children's book, The Little Engine That Could. This is the real world. And we've got to have some very serious, comprehensive strategies and war rooms and campaign teams. And we got to get going. And I just think, given the lack of preparation, as I said, forever the Canadian crew have a campaign and opened their campaign office. And the independent side doesn't even have a campaign.
Right. Well, we got to get that in gear. Well, I won't ask yet. You know what I'm going to ask you, Keith, but I'm not going to ask it yet because I'm sure somebody else will say it in here. Let me get to these questions. Just a reminder, folks, all super chats will be going towards the campaign effort. And that's just keeping it all organized so we can ask Keith, because this chat's moving a mile a minute. Kevin came in with a $5. Should Alberta's pursue independence by taking over UCP and vote for new leadership, start a new independence party, or use the American method? I'm not sure what he means by that, but what are your thoughts on that, Keith?
Well, my experience is, and I saw this for those who might have been aware of it, in 2009 to 2012, I got myself at the front end of a campaign to protect property rights in Alberta when the Stelmach Progressive Conservatives brought in a series of land bills that fundamentally threatened and eroded rural landowners' property rights and other rights. And I did that on a grassroots basis. And what ended up happening was so many voters conveyed to politicians that it was an issue of great importance to them, that all of the political parties started to say, oh, well, we'll fix it, right? Like, we're your guy. So I have seen, and then I also saw the power of the Freedom Convoy, because as you know, Derek, that's how you and I met. I was on the ground there with Tamara Leach and Chris Barber and Everett Chipiuk and Danny Bulford and many others, and through the processes that followed. So I saw how that grassroots campaign shifted political power. I believe that Albertans who are concerned about the future, who believe that independence is the way forward, need to articulate that at every turn. I don't think at this stage creating an independence party is optimal, because at the end of the day, even though I am a hardcore or a very extreme, there you go.
That was the first time I met Keith, guys, during the Freedom Convoy. That was in Ottawa. That was at the hearing, the public inquiry
in October 2022. That was in our forward operating base, the FOB.
How the times have changed. You look so young there, Keith. I think
know.
Politics has
What the
stressed
heck?
you
What
out.
happened? You too.
I think you got stressed with the politics. Hey, it's done a job on both of us. Sorry, I'll let you continue.
But the serious point is, and I appreciate you bringing that up, that's a good little relief, is I don't think, and I'm not trying to help any political party by saying this. History has shown, in my view, and I've lived it, that you can get more done by creating a movement, because the political parties will try and take advantage. Like Ralph Klein used to say, right? If you want to be a good politician, look for a parade and get in front of it. And that's so true. And whereas, I know what the point I was going to make. Derek, I'll use you as the example here.
Great.
You are very concerned about independence, right? But I've met your kids. You're also concerned about their education, right? And you're also concerned about the roads in the town that you live in. And you're also concerned, and the taxes you have to pay. And you're also concerned that if something happens to your kids or your wife or yourself, that you have quality health care. In other words, parties that form around a single issue tend to always perform poorly.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we're complex beings, we're complex voters. And even though we have an extremely strong view on something, will still bring pragmatism to it and weigh other factors. So historically, protest parties tend to fizzle out and not do very well. Independence parties in Alberta tend to do very poorly, extremely poorly. So I think you want to show your level. You want politicians to understand the power of the movement, its grassroots nature, and have the UCP embrace it even more. And yes, get involved in constituency associations and get involved in AGMs, but not in such an absolutist way to scare others off, but more to keep the issue current and to show the power of the movement. I believe that's the ideal way to go. In addition to the independence groups getting organized and developing a campaign strategy.
Good. That's going to bring me on to my next question. And it's the one that I said, I think you know what I'm going to ask you, Keith, because I've been seeing this in the chat all night, ever since you came on. Keith needs to be the first president. Only he can take us and do it the right way. The people are revolting. Yes, and they are ugly as well. Iron Lady of the West just rusted out. Keith, a lot of people want you to be the leader of this, and you've said no. And I've said it a million times. I won't stop asking. What are the odds that if they want to get it, like, we need to put a face to this? And anytime I'm in Corey Morgan's channel or this chat or any of the guys who cover politics in Alberta, I've even seen like Northern Perspectives live streams, and people are saying, we want Keith Wilson. What would it take to get Keith Wilson to say, all right, I'm going to take this horse by the reins and let's get it done?
Well, I mean, it's not like there's a campaign that I can put my, like announce my candidacy, right? There's no vote. I'm all in on this. It was reported in the National Post. I was a little surprised when Donna Kennedy Glenn put that in the story last weekend, but I've reduced my caseload by 75% voluntarily. And because I got voluntold by my wife that I had to get in there and spend more time and help win this. So I'm prepared to do whatever's necessary. I'm not looking for the title of a leader. If people want me to be more visible, I'll be more visible. If people want me to speak at more events, I'll speak at more events. I've got the time now. I've just completed that transition on my client base last week. It took a long time to wind files down and get new lawyers to take over some of my bigger files and my bigger clients. But I'm there now, and it's been very low stress for me the last few days. I took my wife out for dinner, and she said, so what's next? I just finished a major hearing on Tuesday. And I said, I don't have a single hearing other than one Court of Appeal application in my entire calendar. She said, when's the last time your calendar has been that light? And I said, 32 years ago. Wow. So yeah, expect to see more of me. I appreciate the confidence. I'm going to do what I can. And you're going to see a lot more of me.
Good. So to quote Jim Carrey from Dumb and Dumber, you're saying there's a chance.
Yes, I am.
Just kidding. Okay, good. Maple Kitty says, Keith, is the fact that Stay Free had canvassing on and near 678 not consultation? Sorry, Maple Kitty sometimes has a little bit.
I understand it. I understand the question.
Yeah, a little bit of autocorrect.
In other words, like, wait a minute. What is this? These few chiefs saying we weren't consulted isn't what the whole canvassers were doing a form of consultation? And that's a good argument. The whole
isn't a
thing
vote
is
consultation,
of course. Right. That's a good point that this, I didn't catch the person's name, or their handle, but good point. I agree. Arguably it is, but it's kind of worse than that because I know canvassers, as you do, who are First Nations. And I know, because my wife had some First Nations sign her petition sheets, and I've heard of many other instances and have met many myself. And in fact, the polling that Ezra Levant had commissioned, which unfortunately is, I think, an authoritative poll and was telling us how bad our numbers are. There's one group of Albertans who had the highest vote for independence. If there was an election, if there was a vote tomorrow on independence and only the First Nations could vote, we'd be independent. 46% for independence, 42% for staying in Canada. 46 to 42, right?
Unbelievable.
So these chiefs, with all due respect, are outliers. And what I don't understand is why they spent hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars on lawyers when every one of their reserves that I've seen is in a dire state of incredible suffering and poverty, addiction, violence, and low life expectancy, criminality. I really wish they would be more concerned about their people and spend time on that rather than interfering in the most democratic form of democracy and citizen participation that goes back to Greek times, predates the Magna Carta, which is the right to petition your government. But here we are.
Absolutely. Another similar question, Snow, comes in. So on native consultation, wouldn't the referendum count as consultation? It merely bypasses the chiefs and asks the individual instead. I think kind of touched on that in the last question. Is there anything you want to elaborate on that with? Or
well, it's even again worse than that, because the the petition was to say to the government, we'd like you to hold a referendum. And even when the government holds a referendum, nothing happens after the referendum. There's a duty to consult under our constitutional framework as set out in the 1998 reference decision. Well, who is the Alberta government constitutionally required to consult with? The federal government, the provincial governments, and the First Nations.
Yep.
So there's your consultation opportunity. It's constitutionally enshrined. So this whole intervention by the two judges appears to be politically motivated, appears to be a result-focused decision, and undemocratic, and wrong at law. But here we are. So the Court of Appeal will be a panel of 3 judges, and it tends to take a different approach on cases like this, a more judicial approach, one that's based on jurisprudence and past decisions and guidance from other decisions of the Supreme Court of Canada. And hopefully we'll get some clarity there. And in the meantime, we can all go to work and trying to get better organized and develop a strategy, that S word that's been missing, and a campaign that is strategic to reach those who currently will not vote in favor of independence, but are capable of being persuaded because they agree. Even Jason Kenney agreed in the debate and has in some of his interviews that Albertans have legitimate grievances, that there are unfairnesses that Albertans are being held back, that there's bad policies, that the federal government's immigration policy is a mess. He's a former federal immigration minister. And then I say, okay, great. What's your plan? They don't have one, because there's nothing you can do. We are beholden to Ottawa. We are a colony. They are our masters.
Yeah, it's going to get real interesting. And it kind of brings up, I got to get to another question, but it brings up what Dutchie says here. And Dutchie's been a long time supporter of the channel. He says, I get it, but we're sick of waiting. It's been over 10 years of questions and nothing burgers. How long do we have to wait? And I know you kind of said, hopefully in, February, March, we see some kind of referendum if October goes well. But this is the frustration of Albertans now that have sat on the fence and who went out and got signatures, who have said for a long time they back independence for over a year now while this train's been moving. So I understand their frustrations. But Kevin comes in to say, what impact do you think President Trump canceling USMCA and imposing higher tariffs on Canada will have on Alberta independence to support, and when will it end? I think I could say automatically it'll just encourage independence, but
yes.
I'll let you wrap that in.
Yeah, for sure. Because, and this is a reason why I think Canada's done, is look at the economy of Ontario. The reason it exists in large part is because it's low cost labor to the American market, right? You can pay the worker in the US the same dollars per hour and it's 30% cheaper to get it done in Canada. The reason the auto, and I'm not an expert in this area, but it's kind of obvious. Minister Jolie says the reason we have the automotive industry in Ontario is because we have the best workers and all that. Not to slam the workers. No, it's not. It's because your workers cost 30% less. And you're right beside the largest market in the world. And it made a lot of sense for GM, Chrysler, and Ford to build plants across the border to take advantage of the cheap labor, just like they did with Mexico. And Trump's made it clear he wants that to end. And look what's happening. Announcement after announcement. And even the big car makers are saying it out loud. Yeah, we're moving stuff back to the US, maybe some stuff to Mexico. But so the Ontario economy is in trouble and needs that free trade agreement. Well, 90% of our trade in Alberta is north-south into the United States, but it's commodity based. We have the best beef in the world. And if not the best, it's even the Americans will say it's pretty damn good. We have incredible exports of cereal, pulse crops, barley, specialty crops, and seed oils, sugar beets, and on it goes, and other livestock. But our oil and gas resources, and then our petrochemical. The largest construction project that I think Dow has ever undertaken is in Fort Saskatchewan, Alberta. And it's not started now, right? Multi-billion-dollar plant, because the world needs more plastic, because plastic's an amazing product. And not just that, the resins and all the other things that go into paint and solvents and sealants, and everything we touch around us has a little bit of oil in it, right? Refined in some way. So we're a net producer of urea fertilizers. There's a shortage of fertilizer in the world. We have helium, we have lithium, we have forestry and pulp and paper products. Man, what a rock star place Alberta is, but we're being held back by Ottawa. And I had a documentary crew here in my office a week or so ago from the US, and they were asking me a couple of questions, and something occurred to me, because the US was releasing oil, the news, traditional news. And it's like the United States, the Trump administration has just released another 3 million barrels of oil from the strategic reserve. And they show these aerial images of these huge tanks, white steel tanks. And I said, the reality is the United States has a strategic reserve of oil. It's the third largest reserve of the oil, and it's stored underground up here in Alberta, and you can't bomb it. Right. And largest customer, 55% of their imports come from us. So they really need a good relationship with us. And then we're strategically military. We're in our geographic location. The fact that we've got 4 military bases. There's just so much going for us that the Americans are going to want us to be successful. But they don't have that same need for Ontario and Quebec. So I think Canada is not an optimal economic union. Our cultures are different. Our economies are different. And we've got to work hard to not let these setbacks discourage us too much. Use them as learning experiences and say, okay, what do we got to do to win? How can we take advantage of the facts, the cards that we've just been dealt? I did not control those cards. I really wish it were otherwise. I don't see any other serious option that she had, given the intervention of the courts. And it also helped address my other two concerns, which is the midterms in the US and the impact that could have on a recognition by the US of a unilateral declaration. And also the fact that we need time to really get out there and make our case and counteract the state campaign.
It's almost like you can see the questions before they're coming, Keith. I think you might have a psychic gift here, because it's a good segue into it. The next question we had here was, how long do you think Canada can survive before we're past the point of no return as we wait for a vote on independence?
Well, I guess what you mean by survive. What I would say is, I think Canada's crossed the Rubicon. I think it's past that. We're on the other side. I don't think there's
So-
anything turning back. And what I mean by that is every institution that Ottawa created or controlled is corrupt. Everyone. Whether it's the fact that the RCMP don't investigate that I'm aware of any of the compelling evidence that comes out about extreme corruption in Ottawa with spending and backroom deals. Just even the blatantness of the floor crossers.
Yeah.
You know, the one MP from up north, $600,000 given to her closely held company.
Yeah.
What? And there's not a criminal investigation into that?
Oh, why would we?
What?
I said, why would we? Welcome to Canada. That's how
exactly.
we run
We
the
just
government.
take it as, oh yeah, welcome to Canada. So that's why
Yeah.
I say I think it's already gone. But I think that person's asking another question too, which is,
How do we survive?
well, is there a state at which sort of Canada collapses, right? And I don't know that. I don't think that's soon. I think it's just going to get harder to live here. I think it's going to get more and more expensive. You know, it's fascinating when I go to the grocery store. The people going along the aisles and looking at things with their cart mostly empty. It's the same kind of look I had after I got out of university and had a ton of student debt. And I made the mistake of going to a new car dealership and looking at the new pickup trucks and just had that look like someday, someday I'm going to hope to be able to afford one of those new pickup trucks. And I see people walking down the aisle and going, yeah, someday I'm going to be able to afford that bottle of syrup,
Right.
It's just like their window. And then they go by the meat aisle, and it's just tragic. It's just tragic. And the cost of everything is skyrocketing. So I think that's going to continue. It's going to become more and more manifest. The taxes are going to keep coming. They're going to come up with more taxes. You're going to see the flow through costs of all these industrial carbon taxes and other things. The cost of electricity is going to go up. It's just going to keep getting worse and worse. And I think more and more people will be forced to deal with the reality that this romantic version of Canada doesn't exist.
Yeah. It just pushes more over. Yeah. It's funny because when you mentioned the meat aisle, like we were at Save On Foods in Spruce a few weeks ago, and we talked about this on stream. I had a senior citizen that was in there and she was looking at the counter. She actually had them cut her I think it was a strip loin or something that was on sale, but it was so thin. It was like beef jerky when they cut it. And she says, it's all I can afford, even on my lonesome. She says, I haven't had a steak in 2 years, she says. And I just thought today I'd go for it. Can't even afford it. You know what? The wife and I bought her a regular one and said, just go home and enjoy it. Because it's a shame that this is the country we live in, that people just can't enjoy themselves anymore on basics. Like, we're not talking about going out and eating caviar. We sell Alberta beef and it's cheaper in Vietnam than it is in Alberta to buy the same beef. I can't get over it. It's unbelievable. But I do have one that comes in here, and it's not really a question. It's again what we talked about earlier. Mr. Wilson, I'm sorry, but your destiny is calling you for more service to save Alberta. You must become the leader of the UCP. I don't know if UCP would be a good fit, and sail the ship home. We have our own duties. We're responsible, but yours is of great magnitude. I mean, this, like
How
I said,
much
Keith,
did
we
you
see it
pay
in
that
channels
person
everywhere.
to post that?
Nothing. We see it all the time, Keith, everywhere. That's what I'm saying. Tons of communities everywhere I go. I was at an event a couple weeks ago where every single person I spoke with said, tell Keith to get on the horse. We want Keith. Keith for premier. They don't stop. Like, everybody wants you to take this charge.
Not going anywhere. So
well, hopefully in the path of leadership. I definitely think, Keith, I'll tell you, you got my endorsement if you go tomorrow. It's I think you've got a lot of people backing you.
You'd be my campaign manager.
You'd lose. you know, if you get a campaign manager, somebody who's really good with business and with advertising, you should probably take a look at the Rise of Alberta. I think they're pretty smart.
Right?
They might be able to help you out. But hey, I'll do whatever you need me to. I'll do my part. But let's let me get a few more here.
I promised someone else I'd do an interview, and I promised.
Oh, did you?
15
okay.
minutes ago.
Let me grab
time because
okay. So I won't grab another one. Okay, so my apologies, Keith. Thank you for coming on, and thank you for joining us. We'll have to have you back on again, and I'll make note of these questions
sooner rather than later. Let's pick a time next week. Yeah, so why don't you have me on after the debate?
Sounds great. We'll get you booked in.
Everybody will have a chance to process this. I'll have a chance to process it some more. I'll have some questions that I'll have run through my mind. People will have more questions. Let's have me. I'd like to come back next week if that's okay.
Done. It's done deal in the books.
All right.
We'll get
everyone.
it.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on.
Okay, take care.
Take care.
Bye now.
Take care. Bye-bye. Keith Wilson, ladies and gentlemen. My apologies to everybody who left questions in there. I will take note of these questions. Your questions will not go in vain. I will ask them to Keith next week. So keep in mind, we will make a note of those questions, folks. Yeah, how do I get? I'll find a way to get those because the stream erases them afterwards. But I will get them. I'm going to go through the supers that you guys left. Listen, before we do, folks, I just got to say, like, we had our rant after Danielle was in, and I got to say, you know, I'm very grateful for Keith coming in because he serves as the voice of reason. He's always calm, cool-headed. I should have expected he had other interviews to do. I mean, he told me The Fringe was his first. Stress levels of everything. I feel a little bit better listening to Keith. So essentially nothing has changed. Our views on Danielle changed. We now know what team she plays for, and we know she's not going to help us at any point now. We know that Albertans must carry this over the finish line, and we know that throughout the summer, again, we push forward educating. That's the only thing that's changed, is that if we're going to have a vote on a referendum, we do the initial vote in October, and as Keith said, we push for a February, March official referendum date to get the hell out of here. I stand, and guys, sounds like Keith might be prepared to take the leadership and be the face of this. So if anything, that's a win tonight. We'll take that over any other. We've got Alberta Independence coming in with $5 super, located in Southeast Calgary. Ordered 3 more shirts today. Total of 5 now, coming back for the hoodie next. Great. Keep them coming, folks. Again, we want to be out educating people all summer long. I will be doing the same with content creators, and there are big rallies planned. I know of one that is massive, and I can't talk about it yet because I've promised the people booking it. I'm going to keep my mouth shut, but I'm telling you right now, it is the mother of all rallies. Above what Mitch was talking about, Mitch will be involved to some level. I will inform you of that later. And don't leave the stream yet, folks. We're still doing our giveaway tonight. Somebody's going to get some of our new shirts on the 10 rules of independence, or the 10 reasons we should leave. Mile High Mopar with $5 super. People are afraid of that which they don't understand. People are melting down because they can never understand us, Albertans. There you go. Thank you so much for that. Jaden coming in with a $20 super, just here supporting the cause. Thank you very much. I'll be moving back soon. Appreciate that. Welcome back to Alberta when you do. Sanjali with $3 super. Tomorrow, canvasser meeting with Mitch at 7. Perfect. Hopefully Mitch has something good to share with you guys. Ken Taylor coming in with the $10 super. Alberta Patriot from Ottawa. Thank you for your support. I appreciate that. Maple Kitty, Albertan veteran in the house. Go Alberta strong and free. Thank you. We've got Trenton on Johnson coming in with a $50 super. Thank you so much. Proud Albertan, born and raised, living in Saskatchewan after retirement. Let's go. We got Dutchie, of course, coming in. Screw this bunt. I agree, Dutchie. And we're going to act according. Like we said with Keith, maybe this is Danielle's time. Maybe she's up. Maybe there's a leadership review. One way or another, we're getting our referendum. And we're going to pitch it. If we all walk away right now, if we all say, well, I guess that's it. Like somebody said earlier, oh, I guess I'm just not going to vote in October now. Did we really come this far to just say, hey, it got a little tough, we're going to walk away? One person got in our way tonight, and we're about to bowl them over and show them FAFO. If you guys don't want to do that, that's fine. But I'd ask you, why did you get involved in the first place if that's the case? I'm not quitting. I'll run this channel into the ground if it means we get independence. One way or another, folks, we're getting it. We're getting it. And it sounds like Keith is going to be our leader. So stick with us on this. We've got Finer Tans. I hope I'm pronouncing that, or Finer Tans with a $14. Thank you so much. Maple Kitty, I thought it had to be a yes-no question. Her question is 2 questions. How do we say yes or no? I'm confused. Hopefully it gets laid out a little bit better when it comes time for that question. Steve Jensen with a $5. I think she's done. Absolutely she is. She's the one kicking the can down the road. They're all about to FAFO. You got Bruce coming in as a new member. Thank you so much for joining the Patriots Club. How dare you with a $10 super. Danielle, dust off your resume, pack your flipping bags, get out of my province now. That's going to be the temperature moving along, folks. That's going to be how people feel moving forward. And it's about to get real ugly for Danielle. She's not going to enjoy her summer, I'll tell you that much. Snow with a $5 super. Danielle, you're fired for this second betrayal. I agree. She won't be getting in on this channel. Sorry, I'm not going to be your bullhorn. That's over. Andrew with a $2 super. She disrespected us who signed the petition. I agree. Carol, $5. So if I understand, she's changing the question to hold a referendum to see if there's enough people to hold a referendum. Yeah, a little bit of the definition of redundant is see redundant. It makes no sense. It's just kicking the can so she doesn't have to pull the trigger. She's going to have to, or we do it for her. Uncle Chico, $10 super leadership review now. The reason I keep saying we'll do it for her, folks, and I don't want people to lose steam on this, is because if people start walking away from this, Danielle's going to say, hey, it worked. It worked. All we had to do was mess around a little bit, and separatism died in the province. People walked away. This is supposed to do the opposite. This is where it's supposed, like Keith and I said at the beginning, lick your wounds, take a night, think about it, and then get up tomorrow and say nothing's changed. We move forward. I don't want to hear of anybody walking away from this. If anything, this should be just giving us more fuel in the tank to get it done. You know damn well Mitch and Jeff are going to come forward with something. Keith is already talking about giving more of his time. This is about to get real. Alberta Outlaw, Danielle's fired. I agree. Thank you for the $10. Real Steve Jensen, $5. Honestly, I expected something like this, but what a backstabber. Yep. I think that feeling is unanimous across Alberta tonight. You got Jay Fish coming in with $5. We should be looking into Article 5.7 special general meeting with the UCP bylaws. So I'm curious to see how Danielle's virtual meeting or virtual town hall goes on Saturday. I can tell you the AGM is not going to be pretty. Sweet One Lou coming in with a $14 super. Constitution is toilet paper proven by Tamara, Chris, and the Coots. 5, Emergency Act invocation proven illegal and no one prosecuted except peaceful protesters. So done with Kanakistan. I hear you. I agree. Maple Kitty with the $7. It's not a clear question and Danny just sold us out. Now's the time to show Danny her consequences. I agree. Alberta Outlaw with another 10. This shit just boosted the voter base for independence. That's what I want everybody to remember here. It's not a loss. It's a delay. A slight delay. That's all we have to look at it as. One slight delay, we're getting independence. Alberta Gamer, $2 super. I'll have one whiskey per cuss and Derek Rants. Oh, God, you probably got alcohol poisoning. Maple Kitty, $2.79. Checkmate, Danny. Yep, she's done. Stick a fork in her. William Robb, $7 super. Let's fight together. Free Alberta 2026. 2027, it looks like. But we're getting it. We're getting it. Carol, I'm glad I got my UCP membership. Yes, everybody go and get them now. Go and get them now. Now's the time. Dutchy with another $27.99. Hey, Danielle, people's watching this is the end of her. It's the end of her job. Yeah. Oh, hey, Danielle's people who are watching this is the end of her job. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to send this live stream to them. My whole rant, I'll chop it up, send it to them along with that, and let her know it's done. It's over. Manta Felix, $2 super. I effing knew it. And when I say it's done, guys, nobody's going to have to come back and say, hey, friends, you're flip-flopping because now you're making excuses for Danny. We'll still talk about what Danny does. If it's good, it's good. But she's not getting my vote. She's not getting my support. Like, good things for Alberta are good things, but she's not getting my support. And she doesn't have an open invitation on this channel anymore to come and spout more lies up everybody's butthole. It's not happening. Sorry, Danny. You stabbed everybody in the back. You've lost my vote indefinitely. Unless she comes on this channel to say, I'm really sorry I stabbed everybody in the back, I'll change the question. Nope. Persona non grata. Mr. Biggs, $5 super. Well, sadly, she backstabbed Alberta for a second time. Fire her now. I agree. How dare you with a $5 super? Get off your knees. It's unbecoming. It's disgusting. It's really shameful. Time for her to go, says Grant. I agree. Thank you. Nilok, thank you. Something's coming. It's going to be nasty. Get ready. Yep. Alberta Outlaw. She backstabbed every Albertan. I'm pissed. Vote, everyone. And that's the thing, because I've seen it in the chat all night while Keith was talking. I'm not going to vote. I'm not going to bother. Don't. I know I keep repeating it, but this isn't the time to get down on it. We're just getting started. Humble Hungarian, $5. It'll be awesome to see Pierre standing behind empty podiums when he comes to Alberta to campaign. This is what I'm saying. Go to those podiums. en masse with your Alberta flags. Boo him. Tell him to get out of here. Tell him he's not wanted. Tell him he's a traitor. Tell his MPs they're traitors. Call MPs' offices tomorrow. Flood them with emails. All of them. Tell them, don't bother coming back. Dust off your resume. You're not getting my vote. You're fired. You're fired. You work for me, not the other way around. This is the time for everyone to wake up and tell the government, we're not your lapdogs. We're not here to be whipped and abused. We vote you in to represent us, and none of you have done that, including Danielle Smith. You're all out of a job. All of you. You're all pigs at a trough. You're done. Here's John coming in with $2. I will attend the UCP AGM and vote her out too. Thank you. I agree. Alberta Outlaw, $20 super. It was on her own YouTube channel. People are pissed. Yeah, they are. I can't imagine what her campaign people or her press secretary or any of them are thinking right now. Like, I bet you they shut that camera off and Danny probably took a huge deep breath and said, well, here it comes. I don't think she realizes how bad it's about to get, because it wasn't just 300,000 signatures. There's a silent majority behind it. She just pissed off all the people that gave her job and her mandate last election. She's cooked. Stay Free Alberta should start a party. Somebody's gonna. Again, sounds like Keith's willing to join. Steve Jensen with a $10 super. Now's the time for the mother of all rallies that Mitch was talking about in Edmonton. Steve Jensen, something's coming. I wish I could talk about it, but it is the mother of all rallies. You guys aren't going to believe it when we announce it. It's huge. As Donald Trump says, oh my God, it's huge. Okay. It's really huge. You're going to love it. I can't talk about it any further, but it's huge. Maple Kitty, $3 super. Danny has a unity crisis of her own. Couldn't have said it better myself. Right? What a way to put it out. Mike, Feds got to her. She's out. Yep. We'll be talking about it Monday, Mike. Victor Germain coming in with a $5 super. We can't start a new party and vote split. We need separatists to take over the UCP. That's a good point, Victor. And that's the purpose of the AGMs. So at the AGM, they do every year. It's called a board member meeting. They did it last year, and that's when Jeff Rath and Mitch were pushing to have independence-minded board members controlling the UCP. And I believe we got a couple in, but they didn't get everybody that they wanted to. This is the time to get your UCP memberships. Go to an AGM and make sure to vote in favor of independence-minded board members that will push the UCP to make the calls that Danny doesn't have the stones to do. Alberta Outlaw, again, $20. October 19th is our day, my fellow Albertans. Let's not waste time. Campaign like hell. Derek, get in contact with everyone you know. I want tons of rallies. It's coming. It's coming. I'm going to come. I'm not even going to play the jokes because I'm not in the mood for jokes. Kevin with a $2 super. Independence rally in Edmonton, July 1st or 4th. Something will be getting announced. Just hold on. Nilok with a $5 super. It's a group effort by politicians at this point. The government obviously isn't afraid of the people anymore. We need to stop trusting them, period. Guess what? It's done. It's done. Danielle was the only politician I had any faith in when I stood in her office, and you guys can quote me because I've said this several times since I went to her office in November. I looked her dead in the eyes and I said, look, I'm not going to ask how you feel on independence. I think I know how you feel. I said, I just hope you know what the hell you're doing. And she said, trust me, I got it. Well, you just put a knife in my back, Danny. No, you don't got it. And no, I don't trust you. You're out. You're out. You're no better than Jason Kenney as far as I'm concerned. 77 just Jack, F her wanting to be like Quebec. Yep. It's not going to benefit us. Steve with a $10 super. I said I would spend $10,000 for a referendum. I will now spend $10,000 more to get Danielle fired. Can I have some? No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Oh my God. Everybody's going, Derek's a grifter. This is what I'm talking about. People are going to get fired up. Alberta Independence, $2 super. Keith for the leader of the Republic of Alberta. I wanted to show that, but I knew again, we had similar posts. So my apologies for skipping over that one. Bravo 6 with a $5 super. As long as our elected leaders are rewarded like royalty with our tax dollars, snakes like Carney hold the cards. Nothing good is going to happen. Good things are coming. Patience. Hold in there. And hold on, folks. We're going to do our draw right away. I'm going to get through these supers and then we'll get to it. Carnibalism. I love that name. Coming in with a $5 super. Get your shovels by peace or by force. Let's get this done. Couldn't agree with you more. Suna Soul Silver, $5 super. My circle of friends don't want to leave Canada. I understand the frustration, chat, but endurance is an Albertan trait. Stay strong, chat. I couldn't agree more. Thank you. Steve Jensen, this is war, Danielle. War it is. War it is. Sweet Lou coming in with a $7 super. Getting tipsy drinking every time Derek Ranson. Beyond pissed. I got 1270 signatures for what? Don't think ousting Danielle will be good. We're going to replace her. We're not ousting her. We're replacing her. Again, get the board members, get everybody. I'll tell you right now, Danielle will be hanging around the AGM, and I will happily walk up to her and tell her, you done fucked us. I'm out. I'm out. I'm sorry. Pardon my French, but I'll tell her straight up. How dare you do that to us? How dare you betray the trust of the Albertans who gave you your job and mandate? You haven't moved on anything we've asked you to do. You've kicked the can down the road on the pension, the police. You've done it all. Your Alberta Next panels. Has anything come out of that? That was last summer. That was a year ago. What have we seen come out of that? Nothing. Just more shenanigans. And they voted on all of those things again at the AGM, and she hasn't done anything with it. Enough of the carrot on the stick. Either shape up or ship out. And now it's too late. How many people in this chat are done with Danielle? I'm willing to bet all 2,100 that are remaining. F Hawk with a $5 super. We do what Albertans do. We get knocked down, we get up, brush ourselves off, and get back in the saddle and fight like hell. Yes, all of us need to. Screaming Chicken, $10 super. Sure, we kick the can down the road while Ottawa hits us with temporary foreign workers with fast-track citizenships. Yeah, I get it. Like Keith said, it's going to get tough, but we just got to persevere. We got to get through it. Twin Talks with a $3. Can Danielle Smith be recalled again? Be recalled. There's the stall again. Maybe we're hitting our limit with streams. I don't know. I'm thinking she did it so that she couldn't get recalled again. Like it was done in order to fail. I don't know. Again, tinfoil hat moment. Real Steve Jensen with a $5 super. What about the gun licenses, Danielle? Are you going to make us all criminals come October 2? Who knows? What happened to the Alberta gun license? Like, stop kicking the can down the road and either do what you say you're going to do or get out. Screaming Chicken, we have to get out October 19th. October 19th, 781 was the day Lord Cornwallis surrendered to George Washington, ending the Revolutionary War. Just too poetic. I hear you. I agree. Teresa, $10 super. Keith, do you think that Carney will bring in law that will stop the secession of Canada permanently? No, he can't. I can bring that up. I can actually answer Keith's question. It's Alberta. It's provincial law. It's within the Supreme Court. I won't bring it up now, but there, I can answer that one without Keith. It was in the Supreme Court. They were already, I think Rise of Alberta was showing it on X today that it's within the Supreme Court ruling that this is a provincial matter. The federal government has nothing to do with it. It's the will of the province. So no, Carney can't do anything to stop it once it's in motion. Christine with a 279 super. Thank you so much. We got Jeffrey, not trying to be a downer, but just how far does this put everything back time-wise? Couple of months. And I hope Keith answered that for you. And again, I understand if you're going to sound like a downer. I get that people are upset. I am too. I will say after Keith came on, I'm a little less angry and I get what he's saying, but we're just delaying a couple months. There will be a strong push when this vote goes through in October, which is why it's so important that we stay the course. We treat it like the referendum. We get a resounding vote in there. We have to get over 50% now. But here's the good news, folks. If the vote goes through that we need a referendum in this country, then that means when the referendum comes through, we pretty much have the numbers to clear it, right? Think about it. We get over 50% October 19th. It basically tells everybody, you put the gears in motion, call the referendum, we vote all over again, and now you're done. We have to make it an astronomical win. There's Tamara. Beautiful Tamara. Keith has my vote. Thank you, Tamara. He's got mine too. Gorgeous Mayhem with a $5 super. Down here in Texas, pulling for you Albertans. It's a shame. Great window of opportunity while Trump had been in office to help you become a free Alberta. Keith had a good point, though, about the midterms. He had a good point. I'll take a 3-month delay if it means we're past the midterms, right? I think what Keith was saying makes a little bit of sense. I don't want to water it down, and I don't want anybody to think I'm supporting what Danielle's doing. I'm supporting what Keith is saying. Like Keith said, you prepare for the worst and figure out ahead of time, how do we get around it if it happens? He's already got a plan. Jeff and Mitch already have contingencies. This will be to our benefit. And folks, again, I'm just as angry as you are, but I will take the glass half full and say this is another 90 to 120 days to get people educated, to get people off the fence. We have time. Time is invaluable. Is it invaluable? Priceless. We'll say it's priceless. Time is irreplaceable. The more time we have, the better, but not too much because people will lose interest. How dare you with a $5? Tonight's speech by Danielle brought flashbacks of high river flooding. Yes, it does. Christine with a $7 super. Thank you so much. Greg 250. Americans that stand with Alberta. What can we do? Hang in there right now. Just hold up and see where we go. Stay with the channel. Steve Jensen with $5 super. Mitch, I thought APP and Mitch Sylvester were organizing the campaign. Well, they were organizing the campaign to get people educated, not necessarily a party. What Keith is talking about is a campaign with a leader, a vision of the future of Alberta, a face to this movement, organizing where to focus our efforts, not just Mitch and Jeff, everyone. This is what I was talking about today in today's video. I want all YouTubers, all influencers, all podcasters, anybody with any kind of stake in this game to get in touch, and I will be bringing them all onto the show, figuring out a plan as how we move forward on the same grounds, same scripts, same direction, so that we get everybody educated, we move forward, and we're effective. No more opinions here or blabberings there. This is crunch time. This is how we get moving. This is the plan. Sunflower with a $7 super. We need you, Keith. We'll pay your whatever you want. Name your price because freedom doesn't come cheap. I hear you, Sunflowers. It sounds like Keith's on board, which is good. Bulakov with a $27.99. If we don't get 51% in October, how long can the shelf the opportunity to have an actual referendum? Years? I don't know the answer to that, and I don't know if Keith does either. But what we do is we look at this like the referendum. We can't fail. Failure is not an option. This is why I don't want anybody getting deterred from this saying, oh, they're just going to kick the can down the road again. It has to be overwhelming. Now it's even harder than ever to say we have to get that 50+%. This is where we figure out if we can test our mettle. You got Doug coming into the $5 super. Does the movement need a board of directors headed by not one chair, but three, Mitch, Keith, and Fringe? Hey, I'll jump on whatever people want me to. I'll be wherever people need me. But one way or another, folks, it's happening. Making Gains, $5 super. Could they come up with a more complicated question, please? I know. Don't worry. We'll have lots of time to wade through that one and figure it out. General Ire Lee with the $5. Thank you so much. McKelly with a $2. What's what question anyway? I don't know what that means, but thank you. Line LaFlame with $10 super. I just want to do my part and help your channel, Fringe. Well, this isn't helping the channel. This is going to help the referendum. So thank you for that. We got Twin Talks with $27.99. Could we have a rally on a series of rallies that would involve yourself, Wrath, Mitch, and help guide the answer questions for us so we can better inform others, example, white paper, constitution, etc. Yes. And this is one of the things I was pushing for over the summer. Not only do we have those rallies, but we start inviting people saying, if you're against independence, come there. It's not pro-independence rallies anymore, right? You can come there if you support independence, but we want people there that don't. We want people there that have questions. And the people who support independence, if you're at those rallies, if you're at those events, when we start calling people in, if we say it's time for Q&A or questions at those events, don't ask any if you support independence. Allow people who have real questions that don't know where they stand to ask first. It's important, like I said, at this point in time, we listen to them. There's a lot of ground to be made up here. We don't need people saying, hey, I support independence and I'm all for it anymore. We love you guys. We love you sticking in the background. Now's the time to let them speak, to listen to them. But yes, there are plans for positive rallies and there's plans for question rallies coming ahead. I'll try and organize those myself along with other YouTubers. Stan Murray, $25 super. Keith needs this money to set up his campaign office. There you go. Alberta Independence, $2 super. Keith, you have the best wife. Please thank her. She does. Donna is absolutely amazing. Shout out to Donna Wilson and all the work she's done. She's amazing. She's a wonderful person. Mr. Alberta with a $2 super. At this point, we need Keith for Premier. Danny's toast. I hear you, man. Thank you so much. Jess and GP with a $7 question for folks thinking of ousting of Danielle. Who's a viable replacement? Keith. I don't know. Anybody. This is where, again, she needs to understand that her job's on the line. I've said a million times over, politicians go where the votes go. They follow the votes. They follow the numbers. Danielle did not do that tonight, and she's about to see between now and November, those polls are about to drop ridiculously in favor of the UCP. Because now she's pissed off the Tom Lakasic crowd by calling a referendum on a referendum. But she's also pissed off her base by ignoring the will of 300,000 voters and saying, yeah, we don't have to listen to you. So she's going to find out real quick her job's about to go out the window. She might have to pivot very quickly. Too bad, too late. Even if she pivots, she doesn't have my support because she's just showing how shallow she is at that point in my mind. McKelly with a $2 super. Consider running as leader, Keith. Your passion, bro. I hear you. Al Burton with a $2. Derek for VP. Keith for Prez. We love Keith. I'd take that job. I don't want to be in charge, but I'd take that job. Fuzzy Wrinkle coming in for 5 months. Thank you so much. Ann Yazinski with a $20 super. Supporting our freedom. Keith is who we'll need to get us over the finish line. We can do this. Thank you so much. I agree. Maple Kitty, $7. Is your veterans shirts sold out? It won't let me add to the cart. There may be a delay on them, Maple Kitty. Again, people have been buying those shirts left, right, and center. Just try again in a couple hours. Refresh. Hopefully it allows you to then. We got Teresa Freedom coming in with $5 super. Thank you, Derek, for doing this tonight. I'm not as mad now. Keith made sense. I hope so. I hope so, because I've seen about 1,000 people leave the stream since Keith left. I hope people aren't deterred from this. We'll have more content talking about it. Again, stick around. We're going to do a giveaway. Marlboro Man with a $50 super. Thank you so much. Mr. Alberta with a $5. Honestly, Derek, this is bullshit. It's proof everyone is against us. Who idea was it to select hardcore mode when starting the independence game? I love a challenge. I love a challenge. Here's the thing, folks. Mr. Alberta has a point, but here's the question or the return on that for you. If everything was easy, like if it was going to be easy for people, everybody would do it. Everybody would do it. If it was as simple as filling out a form and you go to the polls and you make your vote, everybody would say, oh, let's do it then. Let's jump on board. And you wouldn't have people hesitant. It wouldn't be worth it. You wouldn't feel the satisfaction of what it's going to feel like to gain our independence. We don't quit when it gets tough. We get going. We get moving. We refuse to quit. We show our true determination and will as Albertans. We show Canada what it means to be Alberta proud. Alberta strong, not Canada strong like Mark Carney claims. Canada strong. That's not happening anymore. We show them what the true grit of the West is. We tell them, this is Alberta. You don't screw with the West. Game on. Game on. Texas Rev, remember the eagle with the dangling eye. As Keith said, yes. This is, I said it to Pierre on Twitter today after I called him out to come on this channel and talk about why we should stay in Canada. I said, war it is. I'll see you on the battlefield. I'm not going to listen to them when they come here. Lulabelle with a $7. Buy your UCP membership if you haven't already. It's $10 for a year. Absolutely. I think you can get more than a year as well. Josh coming in with $2. I was a little late. Really quickly, what did Danny say? You'll want to go back and see. I'm not going to say it again. People are already pissed. Alberta Outlaw with a $20 super. Just so I'm clear, this is not the end. No, it is not. In fact, it's just a slight delay, as Keith said. But the October 19th vote is imperative that we get over 50% at this point. We have to. So no, we don't quit. We have to get stronger. So the summer is still very important to get people on the side of independence. We will make it into the history books as becoming a republic. Mr. Keith, yes, I would like you to be president of the new republic. I'll pass that on to Keith. Thank you so much. David, we are not done. We're just getting started. As for Danielle, just another speed bump. And I plan to drive over her as fast as possible. She's done. Saved by grace. Hopefully people have common sense and Nenshit doesn't get in. He won't. Don't worry. He's not getting in. Peter's, Peter. $5 super chat. If all else fails, independence strike. What would happen when 300,000 people stop working? Ottawa would be hurting pretty hard. I don't think we have to go that far. I think, again, if you get enough people on the legislator steps, just like the teachers did and all their paid actors, if we got 20, 30, 40,000 people in front of the legislature with all those blue flags screaming for Danielle to come out, that we want to be heard. Oh, she'd be afraid. Rob with a $5. Who do you vote for who isn't a socialist or a communist? Well, that's the problem when people say oust Danielle. Who do you put in place? They're all the same, right? But who you'll put in place is somebody who wants to actually get over the finish line. It'll be interesting to see what happens in the weeks because we know some UCP members back independence. So it'll be interesting. It's anybody's ball to pick up and run with at this point. Corey with a $5 super, she was paid off. I don't know if it's that. I think it's just that she's a Fed. I think that's what it is, plain and simple. I don't think it's that complex. Maple Kitty with a $2.79. I'm retired. I'll go to the legislature to protest. I'm with you. Karina with a $2 super just purchased my membership. Thank you. Lady Death Razor, sharpen your pitchforks, guys. We got this. There you go. That's the attitude I love to see. Sanjali with $2.79. Yes, Todd Lowen was one that is for independence. So we'll see what Todd does. Luena coming in with $5. Keith Wilson should be in charge. I agree. Lauren with $7. So when can we open an independence office? Hopefully soon. Stay tuned. Freedom Train with a $50 super. Keith Wilson for the win over Smith. I appreciate it. Thank you. Maple Kitty, this is exactly why Fat Stalin was fired. I agree. Mary Wall, read the last MOU. It's bad. I knew this was coming. We're still okay. Again, we're still moving forward. Uncle Chico with a $10 super. What can we do? A leadership review and remove Danielle Smith? Yes, we can. But we also need to elect a board at the UCP that's in favor of independence. So the UCP is the next play. Well, correction. The first play is we go out on October 19th and vote for a referendum again, and then we go to the AGM and elect a independence-minded board. Al Burton, nice silver play button back there. Congrats, Al. Thank you so much. And thank you for all you do. I'll be advertising your rallies for the weekend. I'm sorry. I didn't have them pulled up because I was going to do that tomorrow. Marlboro Man with a $20. This does give Trump time to get through the midterms. We do need that endorsement. So there's the glass half full, folks. Stay strong, okay? I know everybody's mad. I guarantee you, I'm going to probably have a very stiff drink when all this is done, and I don't drink. But I think we all need it tonight. That was a punch below the belt. It's one thing for Danny to do something that pisses me off. It's another to get a knife in your back after Pierre Poilievre already shit the bed today. It was like a double whammy. Dwight with 555. Realistically, when will the referendum happen and how many hundreds of thousands of new Albertans will be here by then? Don't worry about that. There's lots of Albertans that are coming here, or people that are coming to Alberta that want to be here for independence. So I think that no matter how many they flood, we'll have just as many coming here that support it. So don't think like that. We have to keep our heads high and on the prize. John with a $2. Wait, there's a block hammer? Oh, there is. There is. You'd love it, John. Alberta Independence, $2 super. Wonder how much Danielle got from Brookfield. Again, I don't think it's that complex, but my guess is she's going to go federally. She's going to go Fed. Pierre's going to lose his job and she'll go for his. That's my guess. Maple Kitty, $2.79 FAFO. Danny is going to find out. I agree. Dwight with a $5. Alberta's being flooded with people who don't even know what freedom is. They will be patriotic Canadians, I'm sure. Don't worry about it. Keep your head up. We're getting it. Poll out today in Blacklocks. Nobody trusts the government. And Danielle just sealed it. She was the last person. I was watching Nat and the Guy before this, and Nat and the Guy even said she's the last premier that's showing that she's willing to listen to the will of the people. She blew it. She blew it. She just showed you that all of them are horrible. All of them. So now we have our heading. I missed this one from Doug Weber. What is Chris Scott ran and won? What sweet retribution? Or what if Chris won? Yeah, I've told Chris Scott to get into politics. Hopefully he does. Devojka, I'm sorry I butchered that. $7 super. Carney will have us in a carbon contract and we will never get anyone to invest here. That's good for independence. Let it happen. Let it all fall apart. It's only going to help us with numbers. Danielle, hey, as much as she screwed us tonight, she just gave independence the win it needed. If you think people are going to sit back now and say, oh, geez, I guess that means independence is over. What about that silent majority that was going to show up? I think we're over the 50 mark now. Twin Talks with $7. Thank you. Making Gains, $2.79. I'm in BC and want to escape to a free Alberta. There you go. There's more people coming here that agree, folks. There's Tony Shaw with $100. Well, Danny, I thought you had our back. Then you went and bent us over time for you to move. Get the fuck out now. I'll use my one swear there. There we go. I haven't used one in a while. And pardon the language, folks, but it's how people feel. I don't mind putting it out there tonight. Maple Kitty 279. Albertans are the oldest recorded in life in the world. I don't know what that means, but Maple Kitty, thank you. Seal Clubber, $2 super. Vote for President Fringe. You don't want me in charge. Twin Talks 279. The courage to stand. Alberta rising. There you go. I agree. Dwight again, $5. Organization and strategy better happen at speeds we haven't seen since World War II because India and Islam have a plan to own Alberta. It's not happening. Dwight, put something positive in there. Please. Please. I get you're upset. Don't worry about it. Don coming into the $5 super. It took 28 years to go from colony to America state. It's not overnight, folks, but we're going to get it. D. Robert, $5. Make a t-shirt with the beat up eagle with the phrase he won. Hey, maybe we do. And he's got the Alberta flag in his mouth or something. Maybe we'll do something like that. Markle Damgard, $10. Just joined. What happened? If you don't mind a quick summary. If not, thank you for your hard work. I'm guessing you got a summary in the chat. I'm not going to go over it. My advice, drag that little line in the stream back to about 10, 20 minutes in. You'll get a summary. Seal Clubber, $2 super. Pathways in Brookfield paid her off. F. Carney, I hear you. Steve Jensen, $10 super. Freedom Calendar played Danny's speech at the Let's Talk Alberta tonight. Chris Scott, Corey Morgan, Kathy Fleet, Ben Crane. I wonder what their comments are going to be. Again, I think Corey will keep a cool head. I think everybody will be disappointed. And we're going to make a plan. I plan to have some of those individuals, because I have their information, on the show next week. We're going to have a massive panel, folks. Keep your eyes on the channel next week. We're going to get a plan together. Barb being a member for 11 months. Derek, I'm pretty angry about Danielle tonight. Good news. I got my membership and I bought my cool shirt. There was the last super chat. Holy smokes, you guys. I appreciate it. Let's do a giveaway, please. Let's do something good tonight. Let's do, I need it too, guys. I'm down and out like you. I'm relieved that Keith came on, and I was grateful he came on, because Keith is he's like everybody's dad. He comes in and, Dutchie, I'd love to be on. Really? Dutchie, you want to be on that panel? I'll bring you in. You've been a huge contributor to this channel. We've talked in the background. Dutchie, I will bring you on when we do that panel with all the other YouTubers. It was basically going to be a YouTuber panel for influence, but if you want to be in on that panel, Dutchie, maybe ask some questions. I'll bring you in on that. Twin Talks with the $7 super. Call me crazy, but I have a feeling Danielle will call a referendum just before October 19th. Okay. Dutchie will be joining us on that show as well. There you go. See what we do for our viewers here, folks? We love our viewers. We love Dutchie. He's done so much for this community. In fact, the giveaway we're about to do is courtesy of Dutchie. So thank you, Dutchie. Barb, I'll be voting Danielle out too. She's done. Thank you for the $5. Let's get this. Let's get this. We'll do 2 giveaways tonight. 2. Let's do 2. Oh, sorry, I'm getting the old wheel fired up here. Dutchie does so much for this community. Him and Steve Jensen have been overwhelmingly supportive. Tony Shaw, many others. And it's not about the money, folks. They've helped keep the lights on while YouTube's been crushing us. Huge turnout tonight. Thank you so much. Yes, there's Steve Jensen. Me too. Yes, everybody. I don't want to single anybody out or make people feel less. Oh, me too being in the panel. I'll see what I can do, Steve. You got to understand, I'm only allowed so many people in the StreamYard. If we get all the YouTubers and stuff on that I want to have, I don't even know if we'll have room for everybody. I'll see what I can do. But you guys have been very supportive. Maple Kitty as well, very supportive. Alberta Patriots, let's a citizen put on pancake breakfast, feed the homeless with potlucks, just give them back to your community homeless. You guys are so supportive. Now, Steve, if I can figure it out, we'll figure. It just depends if we have the room, because it only lets me have so many people on in the screen at a time. Dwight, Dwight McIntyre. I just saw Dwight pop up with a super chat. Dwight, I'm assuming you're still in here. I'm just poking a little because the fight's going to get really hard. I'm laughing with you. Good. Dwight, are you still in here? Where's Dwight? There's more important people than me. I know, but if I can fit you in, I'll fit you. Just relax. I got your email. Where's Dwight? Where's Dwight? Come on, Dwight. You just put in a super. Where's Dwight? At the very least, you've paid for your shirt tonight. Where is he? Come on, Dwight. Don't make me redraw. I don't want to redraw on Dwight. There he is. Congratulations. You're our first winner. You're getting one of our I Support Alberta Independence 10 Reasons to Leave shirts. So congratulations to Dwight. There you go. Little positivity tonight. Hey, the Fringe. Raw. That was awesome. Let me just fire it up again. Quantum Life 6-2. Is Quantum still in the stream? 77 Just Jack, $5 super. Listening to Danielle speak about Canada was absolutely nauseating. In fact, Keith said the same thing. He said the same thing. Quantum still in the stream as well. Congratulations, Quantum Life. You're our second winner tonight from our second giveaway. Both you and Dwight are both recipients. Let me pull up our shirt. If you're a veteran, feel free to put one of the veteran t-shirts on your request. Head over to our store. Either the Veterans for Independence shirt or the I Support Alberta Independence shirt. Again, for folks who are late in the stream, the shirts are on right now with the walking billboard on the back, 10 reasons Alberta would benefit leaving Canada. It's more detrimental than ever that you go and buy these now. We need to see a sea of these throughout the summer because we need over 51% of the vote now for the hurdle that Danielle Smith has put in front of us. We must vote overwhelmingly for a referendum in this province on October 19th. We cannot fail that vote. So it's over 50% or bust. Get these t-shirts, wear them out in public, start the conversation with people. These are non-aggressive 10 reasons, one of which is we don't want to be a 51st state. So the 10 reasons are on the back. I support independence on the front. Go to our shop, get them now. I will put the shop link in the stream. Here it is, folks. There's the shop link in the stream. If you want to head over to the shop, it is in the description down below the video. You have to hit the little arrow to pull the description down, but there is a link down there. Both of our winners, Dwight Quantum. Dwight and Quantum. Head over to the shop, pick out one of these t-shirts. Has to be a t-shirt. Pick out the size, color, with all of your shipping information and replace. I saw this. I said replace. Send me an email within 24 hours. Unacceptable Fringe YT is in YouTube at gmail.com. So send me an email with the shirt you want, the color, the size, and all of your shipping information to unacceptablefringeyt@gmail.com within 24 hours. Please include a phone number. It does get deleted after I get it. It's because it's a print to order company, and they want to make sure they can get a hold of you if when they're delivering you're not home. So I send it to them, and then I'll send you a confirmation once it's ordered. Make sure to get in touch with me again within 24 hours. Congratulations to our winners. There's a few other supers that came in. I got to get out of the way. Captain McGinty, love you too, Derek. Never give up the fight. We are just getting started. Danielle lit a fuse on us tonight. Derek, can't wait to meet you in person so I can give you one of my challenge coins. Kevin, I appreciate that. Dwight, appreciate it. I'm stoked. Thank you so much. Bill, thank you for the $5 as well. All of that going towards the referendum effort tonight. I want to thank everybody who came into the stream tonight, everybody who supported independence, everybody. Please don't give up. Don't say this is the end. Don't walk away. Again, we need the 50% now on October 19th, more than we needed it before. Tony Shaw sending you the coffee fund for 10 shirts. Oh my God. Okay, well, I'll have to give those away in a couple weeks because or not a couple weeks, about a week or so, because it takes about a week for me to get those funds from Buy Me a Coffee. We will give them away, Tony. Thank you so much. You're very generous. Holy crap, guys. Tony Shaw, thank you. Dutchie, thank you for the shirts that we gave away tonight. Thank you, everybody, for the support on this channel. Please stay tuned to the channel tomorrow. We'll be talking more about this, why it's important that we continue with the vote. Stick with us, folks. If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, hit that subscribe button. From myself, from everybody here at Unacceptable Fringe, have a great night. Try and relax, breathe a little. It's not over by far. We're just getting started. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care.